Good morning, brothers and sisters. The gospel today has a great story that can help us see more deeply two important aspects of our Capuchin life. One is the power of fraternal charity, and the second one is the Christocentric identity of our brotherhood. First, we hear in Mark today that they came bringing to him a paralytic carried by 4 men. So we immediately know that fraternity is taking place there. But we see the power of fraternal charity in the next verses when we hear that they open up the roof. They open up the roof to get him near Jesus. And only after breaking through, they let down the mat on which the paralytic was laying. So the power of fraternal charity is clear by the witness of faith that these 4 men show by their example of bringing the paralytic even to the point of breaking through a roof. Maybe the paralytic himself did not believe that he could have been healed by Jesus, that God himself wishes his own healing. And this can also happen to us here, brothers and sisters, in Capuchin College. Sometimes it seems normal to think of each other as paralytics or as screw-up friars. And in many ways, we are sinners and we are in need of healing. But sometimes I wonder if we may benefit to have this attitude of these 4 men to our brothers here. Because let's face it, when we live with one another for a long time and we start seeing the struggles of each other, it is easy to lose faith. It is easy to lose faith for another brother. It is easy to lose faith and to be willing to move the roof that we can call individualism. I think sometimes it would be good to see a brother breaking into my roof of my own selfishness to remind me or to remind each other, Jesus, the Son of the good Father, is totally invested in your own healing, and he wishes to heal your wounds indeed. Because God did not create you to be a paralytic. So I suggest that we begin to pray for the inner healing of one another here in Capuchin College. Sometimes we might get too absorbed in our own agendas that we may forget the need of healing of each other. We might not know why certain brother gets upset easily, or why a brother is anxious all the time, or quiet or loud, whatever it is. There is a temptation for us to judge for each other's behavior instead of being a witness of faith and a sign of hope for healing. In the book, The Spirit of Early Christian Thought, Robert Wilkin is a theologian. He says, though the knowledge of God is intimate and personal, it doesn't come to us directly. It is always mediated, usually through another human being. The truth that Christians confess is transmitted through other persons, through the Christian community, the church. And he concludes, there is no way to Christ without martyrs, without witnesses. So we can say for ourselves, there is no way to Christ without my brothers. The second point deals with the Christocentric identity of our brotherhood. And I take this point for when I heard a homily by our brother Sean O'Malley. Once he spoke of this gospel, and he made the contrast between the crowds, the attitude of the crowds, and the attitudes of the community. So in the Gospel of John, as you might recall, the crowds prevented the blind man at the pool of Bethesda to get near Jesus for his healing. But on the other hand, the Gospel of today shows the power of community that bring him closer to Jesus. So the temptation for us is either to act as the crowds, seeking only our self-interest without consider the need for healing of another brother. So every criticism that I make to my brother counts for his healing. Every attitude that I give to my brothers counts. So the question for ourselves is, am I bringing my brother closer to the healing of Christ, or am I drawing him away from his healing? So the church today, I believe, invites us to pause our own agendas for a minute, our own projects, especially right now that we are making our schedules for the new semester. And consider also making time to pray for one another healing. And it's good for us to remind each other that God did not create us to be paralytics. He is invested in our healing. This is why we hear Jesus at the end of the gospel today saying, I say to you, rise, pick up your mat, and go home.